Good morning, students.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Yeah. So we shall move on to the lecture today. So in the previous lecture, we discussed about the ceramic fibers. Ceramic fibers introduction, we have seen what is a ceramic. It is a non-metallic material, which is an inorganic, and it is highly crystalline. Okay. And then we moved on to discuss about comparison between the ceramics, metal, and the polymers. And then how the ceramic fibers are produced. That is the powder compaction and sintering, the basic methods we discussed. But this method can produce only a rigid ceramic fiber. It is not possible to produce the fine fibers with this method. So for making the fine fibers, the method has to be modified. You have to use some methods like direct process or indirect process, where the direct process you need to use a different step where you take the precursor system, which is a pre-ceramic precursor system, which will contain the inorganic and organic components like minerals, and then you will just spin them, and then you will do the in pyrolysis and sintering, and then obtain the ceramic fibers. But whereas in the indirect method, what you will do is you will perform the chemical vapor deposition. Means you will take a substrate fiber, which is again inorganic mineral only, that you will soak it in a precursor material. You will take a substrate, whether it is a carbon or a tungsten type of a wire, that you will just soak it in a precursor material, and then you will just do the chemical vapor deposition. Okay. So similar to boron fiber manufacture, you will perform the indirect method, where you take a template fiber, then either you can directly do it by the dipping method, or you can do the chemical vapor deposition as it is shown in the right side, where there will be a chamber which will have a very high vacuum. You will be continuously sending the chemicals, reacting both the chemicals, that whichever you want to deposit on the surface of the template fiber, that will get coated. And then after, once it is coated, you will do the sintering process, where you will just expose it to very high temperature, so that whatever chemicals you have used, whatever reactants that you have used to deposit, that will get deposited in the template fiber. So there are in indirect method, there are different ways you can produce. You can use sol gel process, or chemical vapor deposition, or aerogel process. There are many methods are there. Each and every method has its own advantage and disadvantage. Okay. So for the textile grade purposes, as I have told you, you need to produce a fine fiber with a lesser diameter. That we will discuss further. So chemically, if you see, the ceramic fibers are classified based on two different types. One is the oxide based fiber, and another is the non-oxide. Oxide means like inorganic oxides like silica, alumina, silica, alumina zirconia. These are the oxide type of fibers. And another is the non-oxide fibers, where you use a silicon carbide. This is not silica, it is silicon carbide, silicon carbon nitride, and then silicon nitride. You can produce this, as I have told you, there are two methods. One is spinning followed by pyrolysis, or chemical vapor deposition, or sol gel, or other methods like melt drawing, spinning, and extrusion. There are many methods are there. So till here, I think we discussed in the last lecture. So today we'll move on further to discuss about how these fibers are produced, and what is the difference, which type of a fiber will yield the better fibers, process will yield the better fibers, that we will see. So if you see the oxide fibers, whether it is oxide or non-oxide, this fiber is used for very high temperature resistance. Wherever the high temperature or thermal insulation is required, temperature resistance is required, there these fibers used. Where there is a refractory or where there is a very high temperature exposure, like a kiln. So that places these fibers are used. So if you see the oxide fibers, these fibers are based on mostly alumina type. Why commercially the oxide fibers, it is classified into 3 different compositional classes. One is you can use the pure alumina fibers, that is almost, it is 99% aluminum. Okay, so aluminum oxide you take, because you see all these materials will contain oxides, more oxygen will be present, or it will contain oxides. Or you can mix this aluminum, cross-link this aluminum with some silica, so that you can produce an alumina silica fibers. Another is the same alumina, you will mix it with the zirconia. You mix the alumina with the zirconia, where there is a change with the, instead of alpha you use a beta. Okay, so there are different oxide fibers are there. So in general, if you see the manufacturing method of aluminum oxide or the alumina fibers, what you do is you will follow the spinning and heat treatment route. That is the one which we have seen here. This is the same route. Okay, direct method. Okay, what is the direct method? You take the aluminum oxychloride, okay, and then you will mix with some rheological aids. Rheological aid means the flow, like viscoelastic, which will flow like a thickener. Okay, those rheological chemicals you will add and form a syrupy solution like a slurry, and then you will do the extrusion. Okay, so that when you extrude it, what will happen in this aluminum oxychloride, this chlorine is there, this chlorine will get removed, the water will get removed, and finally you will get a anhydrous alumina phase. Okay, so this is how you produce the alumina fibers for the, by using the direct process, which is the spinning and heat treatment. You produce this thing. Heat treatment means pyrolysis. So here you see you get fiber diameter of up to 3 micrometer you get, which will contain mostly of alumina, and some silica will be there, so that you will get some sort of a flexibility in the structure. Okay, so these fibers have a modulus of around say 100 gigapascal with predominantly aluminum, and have a high porosity will be there, these fibers. So see, these fibers, as I have told you, for producing the textile grade of ceramic fibers is little difficult. Okay, that will happen only when you mix the alumina fibers, whether you are using alumina or silicon carbide type of fiber, you have to actually mix it with some number of cross-linking agents or some other additional ingredients. Okay, otherwise you will not get the flexible fibers. You know very well that flexibility is inversely proportional to modulus and the diameter. Okay, if the modulus becomes much higher and the diameter becomes much higher, the flexibility will be lower. Okay, flexibility will go away. So in order to increase the flexibility, the diameter should be less. Okay, so that is the reason why some industries actually started to research these fibers to improve the fiber diameter, that is the reducing the fiber diameter to make the fiber finer, so that it will be used for making the textile grade fibers. There are a number of companies, they marketed this ceramic fibers. One is the company called Altex. It is a trade name called Altex, where they produce some continuous alumina fibers. It is manufactured by the company called Sumitomo. They manufactured these fibers in the diameter of 8 to 10 micrometer. Okay, and there are other companies also like ICI, which has the trade name of Safil. They have manufactured the ceramic fibers using 3 to 5 micrometer range. Okay, so for example, it is always preferable that rather than using the virgin pure alumina type of a fiber, it is better to be coat this with some silicon carbide or silicon type of a ingredient. It is better to add, so that what will happen, you will get a more flexible type of a material. Okay, apart from these companies, there are many more companies they have researched, and they have got some improved versions in the diameter. You see this company called Nextel 10 and Nextel 720. These are produced by this company called 3M. It's a very popular company in the world. Okay, they have produced this commercially successful products called Nextel 610 and Nextel 720. So this ceramic fibers, you see, they are produced in the continuous multi-filament form. Okay, they are produced by the sol gel process. Okay, so if you see what is present in it, this Nextel 610, if you see, it will contain greater than 99% aluminum and a single phase structure of the aluminum oxide. So if you see the grain size, because this it's a highly crystalline. If 99% aluminum trioxide is there, it will be highly crystalline with the 0.1 millimeter grain size, and filament diameter is around 14 micrometer. But the problem with this is this fiber has a fine grained structure, so it will have a time. Then room temperature, it has a good tensile strength, but when this fiber is exposed to very high temperature, then the strength will decrease at around say 1100 degrees centigrade. The strength will decrease. But whereas if you see for the Nextel 720, okay, it's an improved version. Okay, when you compare with the Nextel 610, this Nextel 720, they contain 85% aluminum trioxide and 15% silicon dioxide. They have at lower room temperature, they have a lower strength, because you have just if you just mix some 2-3 ingredients, normally what happens, it creates some voids in the structure. Okay, so what will happen is in room temperature it will not have that high strength, but these fibers, since the main application is used in the places where the higher thermal resistance is required, those places it can retain the higher strength. When it is heated, that time what will happen, because of the cross-linked structure, when it is heated, all grains, they get fused together, so that it will not affect the strength. Okay, and one more thing which you need to understand is, when these fibers are heated, they at very high temperature, it not only reduce the strength, it will also undergo creep property. Okay, you know very well what is meant by creep. It is an extension with time. For example, when you apply a mechanical stress to the fiber, if you just give a very high mechanical stress, what will happen? These fibers will just extend with time. Okay, so if you go on extending that time, then it will break at some point of time, and the creep problem, it is prevalent in other versions like Nextel 610 or other fibers like Safil, etc. So the main thing why we are discussing this different type of companies manufacturing different type of ceramic fibers is, the target is you need to produce a fine fiber with a lesser fiber diameter. Then another is it should retain the higher strength at higher temperature. Number 3, it should not give the creep problem. Okay, it should have a lower creep rate. Okay, at higher temperature it should have a lower creep rate. It should not undergo this creep problem. Okay, so because of this thing, this Nextel 720, it is a commercially it is a successful type of a thing. So if you see this if you see this Nextel 720, what is the reason for the higher temperature resistance? You know very well that this fiber has a higher temperature resistance. Apart from the temperature resistance, what is the reason for the higher strength at the higher temperature? What is the higher temperature resistance? What is the reason? Okay, if you see, it is because of the reduced grain boundary sliding and reduced grain growth. Normally what will happen, these fibers are high performance fibers. If you just heat it to very high temperature, because of presence of some impurities and this metals which are present, actually it promote more crystallization. It will promote more nucleation to make the surface more highly crystalline, make the fiber highly crystalline, so that that will make the fiber rigid, and also it will create this grain boundary sliding problem. See, this grain boundary sliding can be explained on the basis of a model. I will just show you a model. For example, this is the model. For example, if you are just applying some shear force here, what will happen? There is a these whatever grains are here. Assume that this is a ceramic grain. Okay, these grains will just move this side, so that it will just, after if you apply a shear force here, if what will happen, it will just move this side. You understand? So that what will happen, or if you just apply a shear force here, so it will just move this side. Okay, so that is not a desirable feature for this fibers. So the main thing you need to understand is, though you produce a fiber with the fine diameter by mixing this alumina with this silica dioxide, or say whether you are using a malachite grain like a silicates you are mixing, the main thing is it should retain the strength at higher temperature. It should not undergo the creep at higher temperature. Okay, so what is the reason for the strength retention or this creep prevention? That is because of the reduced grain boundary sliding. So that will happen only when you, with the fibers where you mix this, rather than using the virgin alumina, you mix it with some silicate dioxide, silicon dioxide and other silicates, so that some sort of a bonding take place between this grain, so that they will not undergo the grain sliding. Okay, so similarly, it will not undergo the allowed to undergo the creep property at a high temperature. If you just observe this table, you can understand there are three different fibers which we have seen. One is the alpha alumina fibers, which contains pure aluminum. You can see 99.9% it contains only aluminum. Okay, but whereas for alumina silica fibers, you see 95% aluminum and 5% silicon dioxide. But whereas for alumina zirconia fibers, it is 89% aluminum, 10% zirconium oxide, and 1% yttrium oxide. Like that, if you mix some 2,3 metal oxide, form a cross-linking between them, so that will actually improve the strength. Okay, if you just observe, this is like a first generation ceramic fiber. Okay, the three companies have marketed this: DuPont, Mitsui, 3M Japanese companies like Mitsui. They have the trademarks like FP, Almax, Nextel 610. So if you observe, the initially produced fibers had a very high diameter, say 20 micrometer, and high density. But when you go on making the change in the process, like you mix it with some other cross-linking, so that cross-link with the other metal oxide, inorganic mineral like silica. So that time what will happen is, it will reduce the diameter. You can see wherever you mix with some 2-3 inorganic minerals, it reduces the diameter. Okay, so you make the diameter finer, and also you reduce this density also. So here, this one is the commercially successful type of thing you can see here. So this 3M company has produced this Nextel 720, where 85% aluminum trioxide and 15% silicon dioxide is produced with the lesser diameter 12, and density is relatively lower. Okay, and strength is also higher. You can see it is 2.1, and strain to failure, it is somewhere 0.81, which is good, and modulus is also 260. So this is the reason why we actually, in order to make the fine fibers, we mix it with some 2-3 cross-linking agents. That is the reason. Okay, so you can make a comparison against this alpha alumina trioxide fiber with these fibers. You will understand how the diameter has reduced, density has reduced, strength has increased, strain to failure has increased, and Young's modulus, that is the stiffness, has reduced. Because you know very well, it is not possible to produce a stiffer fiber where the fiber has a very high stiffness and also it is flexible. As I have told you, flexibility is inversely proportional to modulus and the diameter. That thing you need to keep in mind. Next is the non-oxide fibers. These non-oxide fibers, they are based on the silicon carbide fibers. Okay, they are based on the minerals called silicon carbide, which will not contain carbon, or very, very less carbon it may contain. They can be produced by 3 different routes. You can use the chemical vapor deposition, which you know the method. Second is the spinning and heat treatment, that is the spinning and followed by pyrolysis. Third one is the whiskers from rice hull. You know very well about rice hull. That is the rice hull is something like where you the cover like the covering portion of the rice paddy. Okay, so that also is a protecting covering of the rice, that is also used as a raw material to produce this whiskers. Okay, whisker, I have already asked you during the first lecture what is whisker. No one has told the correct answer. So whisker is something like which will have the higher aspect ratio. Okay, you can read about what is meant by whisker. For whisker, there are many English meanings are there. For your beard also, you can tell it is a whisker. But whisker is something which has a higher aspect ratio. That is the length to diameter ratio. Okay, so this one you can just type and find out how these whiskers look like when it is used in a compost. It has a higher aspect ratio. Okay, there is something called aspect ratio. You can read about it. So there are different ways you can produce this non-oxide based ceramic fibers. So here also the same, whatever for alumina you have observed, same thing here also. There is a first generation silicon carbide fiber and second generation, and some improvements have taken place. If you see this silicon carbide fibers, they have higher stiffness. Okay, modulus is higher. The fibers range with a very high percentage of oxygen and excess carbon. Okay, so this is the first generation fibers. There are some companies which have produced like a Nicolon, Tyrano, Loxem, and these fibers have some carbon and silicon ratio. Okay, there are some companies called Tyrano, SA, they have trade name Silramic. There are many companies are there. So here also the main target is to produce the fine fibers. Okay, so here the first fine silicon carbide fibers, they were commercialized by the Nicolon company, by the Nicolon fibers, by the Nippon Carbide company. The company name is the Ube Industries. They used these two precursors, okay, like polycarbosilane and polytitanocarbosilane, because these fibers are the silicon fibers. Okay, these are the silicon fibers. So the raw material used for making these fibers, it is not alumina, it is the source of silicon. So we are using the polycarbosilane, which is abbreviated as PCS, or you can use the polytitanocarbosilane. Okay, so this structure, if you look like, it will contain some sort of a diamond structure, which will contain some packed structure. Okay, where fused structure you will see, where the 6 atoms, they are arranged in the form of a similar manner to diamond, like a beta silicon carbide. So this Nicolon NL200 fiber, the advantage is it is easily spinnable. Okay, so you know why we are taking efforts to make the fibers reducing the diameter, because we need a spinnable fiber. Okay, for that you have to reduce the diameter. Okay, so if you see these fibers have a diameter of around say 14 millimeter, a glassy appearance, and the Young's modulus, the stiffness is around 190 gigapascal. These fibers, you can produce this by using a spinning technique, or if you want to use it by the chemical vapor deposition, that is also possible. This polycarbosilane you can take, and then you can just graft this titanium alkoxides, so that what will happen, it will form a fine fibers. Okay, there are other improvements have taken place in this fiber manufacture. The company have produced fibers with a lesser diameter also, like 8.5 millimeter, containing 18%, 13% oxygen by weight. And the other things which you need to know is this fiber, they are produced by oxidation, curing, and pyrolysis, which you know very well. See, the problem with these fibers is they have inferior creep properties around at about 1000 degrees centigrade, similar to the alumina fibers, where the pure alumina fibers were used. Here, these fibers, when you produce this with a high quantity of oxygen, what will happen is it will lead to creep property. Okay, so creep property is not desired one, that will affect the strength when it is increased to high temperature. When the fiber is exposed to very high temperature, then that will give the creep problem. That is due to the oxygen-rich intergranular phase. Okay, so oxygen has to be reduced. That is the understanding from this research. So if you see, the improvements have taken place with the elimination of oxygen. Okay, whether it is possible to reduce the oxygen. Okay, so that is the reason why instead of doing this oxidation process, where if you do the oxidation, definitely oxygen it is going to get introduced, so that what will happen? That will lead to some creep problems. Okay, so again the same problems like grain sliding, creep. These are not desirable for the high performance workers. For that, what is the improvement? The understanding is to eliminate the oxygen from the structure. So how to eliminate it? Use the same polycarbosilane precursors or the polytitanocarbosilane precursors and do the irradiation using the electron irradiation. Instead of heating it, instead of exposing it to oxygen, do some radiation exposure. Okay, so that when the electron irradiation is something like a focused radiation. Okay, so that what will happen? The oxygen penetration into the structure, it is prevented. Okay, or it is much reduced. Okay, and then if they do the pyrolysis, what will happen? It will contain a less oxygen, which is called HI Nickel-on fiber. These are the improved version by the same company called the Ube Industries. Okay, so once after you do the process, it may contain about 5% oxygen, because when you do the pyrolysis, there is some chance of more oxygen coming place. Okay, so these fibers, I have told you, these fibers, the precursor, that is the raw material used, is polycarbosilane or polytitanocarbosilane, and then you will just graft some titanium alkoxides. Okay, this titanium alkoxide already we have seen. This groups you because of grafting these groups, this titanium alkoxide, so that what will happen? Some oxygen will come to the structure, but still the oxygen content is less when you compare it with the previous fibers which we have seen. Okay, if you just see the table which I will show you, this is the silicon carbide based fibers. Okay, SiC. Okay, if you see here, these fibers, wherever the oxygen content is higher, you can see, for example, this Nippon Carbide have produced this company produced this fibers which has the trade name of Nickel-on. They have the silicon content, then carbon content, and this oxygen content. You can see the oxygen content, where the oxygen content is very high, that will actually have this problem, where the creep problem will be there. So that is the reason where this, in order to improve that, in many researchers, they have understood this oxygen is creating this creep problem. So they have incorporated, they have done this radiation type of a curing rather than oxidation. They did this radiation curing where the oxygen is less. You can see. So in all the versions, apart from this, the basic version of Nickel-on HL200, other versions, you may observe that all the versions will have a lesser type of thing. For example, Nippon Carbide, or say, for example, here you can see Tyrannoloxy. So these fibers, if you observe, the diameter also will reduce, density will reduce, and importantly, the strength, if you observe, the strength gets improved. You can see here, this is very important, the strength becomes increased, strain to failure gets increased, Young's modulus slightly it will increase. So main thing why we are actually mixing these fibers with these cross-linking agents. For example, this same three companies, they have used the same silica and other ingredients like titanium alkoxides. For example, here we have seen this titanium alkoxide because of you graft the structure. Okay, so these groups, when it is grafted on the structure, what will happen is this you are actually using a stoichiometric ratio between these groups. Like for example, one time you can see the ratios which are shown here. These are the stoichiometric ratios. So because of that, what will happen? You will get a lesser diameter and improvement in the strength. Okay, if you see this fiber where produced by Dow Corning, they have a high quantity of silicon carbide and titanium dioxide. This comes from the titanium alkoxide. Okay, and carbon content is 1% only, and oxygen you can see much less. If you just compare with this silicon carbide fiber with this fiber, the oxygen content is much less, so that you get a lower fiber diameter with higher density, and strength becomes higher. Okay, and strain to failure is slightly reduced. So ultimately, why we are doing these things? Because we want to produce a fine fiber with a improved retention of strength at higher temperature and prevention of this creep property at the high temperature. Okay, that will happen only if you mix this with the stoichiometric ratio rather than using the oxygen to them. So here, the silicon based fiber, the understanding is the oxygen content should be reduced. Okay, this creep happens because of the oxygen content. It promotes the creep. That is the finding from this. So if you make a comparison between these both the fibers, the problem with the silicon carbide fibers, it is actually more. If you see, these fibers have a higher tensile strength and modulus than the oxide fibers, which you can easily understand. Just to make a comparison in the table, these fibers, you can see the Young's modulus, what values are here, and just to make a comparison with this Young's modulus, these fibers have a higher values of tensile strength and modulus than the oxide fibers. Okay, so these fibers, due to their structure, which is an amorphous because you are mixing many chemicals. Okay, but it is much better when compared to the polycrystalline oxide fiber. But the disadvantage is they are easily susceptible to oxidation. Okay, during the process, if you do the oxidation, when you carry out the oxidation process, it will lead to fiber degradation, because I've told you this oxygen introduction of oxygen lead to affecting the tensile strength. Okay, and also the creep property. So the lower the oxygen content, better is the oxidation resistance. That is, if oxidation resistance becomes higher, obviously the creep problems also get reduced. Okay, so that's all about these ceramic fibers. It may look complex when you observe to understand, but it is actually simple. You need to just understand what is alumina, what is silica, how what is the difference between both. Okay, so that if you understand, it is actually simple only. Manufacturing method, it is the basically two methods, and chemically you can classify them based on oxide and non-oxide fibers, whether it is an alumina based or the silicon carbide based, that you can classify. Advantages and disadvantages you would have understood, I think. That's all about the ceramic fibers. If you have doubts about the ceramic fibers, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can stop here for today.